The Las Vegas Raiders offense didn't do much last year outside of turning the ball over. Most of those turnovers were on the quarterbacks. So when head coach Pete Carroll was hired, he brought in quarterback Geno Smith. They have unfinished business from when they were together with the Seattle Seahawks. In his first year as a starter there in 2022, Smith threw for 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions while leading the Seahawks to the playoffs. They followed that up the next year by missing the playoffs, leading Carroll to step down from his head coaching position, temporarily halting their mission. Now Carroll has him back with Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator. He's putting a cast around him that's similar to the cast he had in Seattle, and it appears to be coming together according to reports from OTAs. Let's talk about the offensive line first though. I know they can't do anything to show who they are right now. I just want to say they're not as bad as they're made out to be. In 2022, they had Colt Miller at left tackle, Dylan Parham at left guard, Andre James at center, Alex Bars at right guard, and a combination of Jermaine Illuminor and Theron Munford at right tackle. Then running back Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing. In 2023, the Raiders came back with the same offensive line, but Greg Van Roten replaced Bars at right guard, but Jacobs had injuries. The Raiders eventually got the running game going down the stretch that year, though. Then in 2024, offensive coordinator Lou Getsy came in and things were a little bit different. He moved Cody Whitehair to left guard and moved Parham to right guard. Illuminor walked in free agency and Munford got hurt, so DJ Glaze had to start at right tackle. That isn't why the running game failed, though. Jacobs won the rushing title with an offensive line that was on the same level. Letting him walk in free agency was a big mistake. The Raiders never did find their running game without Jacobs. I believe they found it now. As you know, the Raiders selected running back Ashton Genty with the number 6 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. He will be the shot in the arm the running game needs barring injury. I know people want to make reference to Trent Richardson and say you never know, but Richardson didn't show the ability to force missed tackles or vision Genty showed in college. He just played on the best team with the best offensive line and ran through huge holes. When those huge holes weren't there in the NFL, it didn't work out. Of course, Genty wasn't able to show off his contact balance and things like that in OTAs. However, he was able to show his versatility as far as being a weapon in the passing game. When I say a weapon in the passing game, I don't just mean screens and checkdowns. You can use Genty as a down-the-field weapon and try to get explosive plays out of him in the passing game. He never really got a chance to do that at Boise State, but in Chip Kelly's offense, the running back is a major weapon, so he's going to be asked to do everything in his skill set to help the Raiders score points. And I can't wait to see it. Of course, I have to bring up the Raiders rookie phenom from last year. Tight end Brock Bowers is coming off an historic year, so that jump to year 2 for him would make him that much more incredible. Remember, Bowers caught 112 passes for 1,194 yards and 5 touchdowns. The yardage was enough to break the rookie tight end record for yards in the season set by Mike Ditka. The catches were enough to break the record for catches in the season regardless of position by Puka Nacua. Then there's a franchise record for catches that he broke previously held by Darren Waller. If he can stay healthy, he'll probably break a lot of records. But let's start with following up a phenomenal record-breaking rookie year in which he had Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as his quarterbacks. This coming year, he's going to have the most accurate passer over the last 3 years throwing him the ball. Geno Smith will be the guy this year, and the reports coming out of OTAs are that Smith and Bowers are starting to get their chemistry down. That needs to continue from now, through minicamp, through training camp, and into the regular season. I can't wait to see them on 3rd and 6 this year. As good as Bowers is, he's not the only good tight end the Raiders have. They actually drafted the best tight end in the 2023 class too. Michael Meyers is a really good tight end that could have easily went in the 1st round but fell to the Raiders in the 2nd round. He's very important to the Raiders too because he's a true tight end. At 6'4", 265 pounds, he has the size and length to be a good inline blocker, and he is. That's not Bowers' game as he is much smaller. He's better off leading the running back through the hole on the linebacker in the running game. You don't want to give away what you're doing on a given down, so Meyers should be on the field with Bowers a lot as a true tight end, while Bowers is a move tight end or a H-back. And while he's not Bowers, he's a good receiving tight end too. Unfortunately, he didn't have a chance to be used much with Bowers due to an undisclosed personal issue. Now the word out of OTAs is Meyers in a great state of mind, in great shape, and looked real good in OTAs catching the ball. Offensive coordinator Chip Kelly sounded really excited about Meyers and probably has something up his sleeve for him this year. Another 3rd down weapon that'll be at Smith's disposal is slot receiver Jacoby Meyers. Meyers is coming off the first 1,000-yard season of his career, and he didn't drop a pass. He had 129 targets this year and not one drop. He's the only receiver in the NFL this year with 100 or more targets and didn't drop a pass. Meyers was on the outside a little more last year, but Jim John Spytek and head coach Pete Carroll see him as a slot receiver. At least now they do. They've said as much in press conferences this offseason. He has a career average of 11.7 yards per catch, so the short to intermediate range fits him best. He'll be a guy to look for when the Raiders have 3rd and 4, working short and in the middle of the field. Meyers is 6'2", 200 pounds, so he'll be a big target in there for a slot receiver. Word on the Raider Nation streets is his chemistry with Smith is coming together. I'm not sure what he did last year translates into a big statistical season this year because the Raiders are going to run the ball more and they have more weapons. But what will translate to this year is he'll be there when needed. The main guy that's going to be fighting with him for targets is 2nd round pick Jack Besh. He does a lot of what Meyers does. He's a possession receiver that does most of his work in the short to intermediate area and he moves the chains on 3rd down. He's not a burner, but he has the ability to make plays down the field, especially since the 6'1", 215-pounder is good at winning those jump balls down the field. The Raiders aren't going to depend on him going deep too much, though. Besh isn't Davante Adams, but he's a good route runner, and added to that, he's physical at the top of his routes, so he finds a way to get himself open. As I've said plenty of times before, he reminds me a lot of Dallas Cowboys legend Michael Irvin in that way. He finishes catches through contact well and everything, too. The big question for him is how big of a role is he going to carve out for himself? Sometimes it's tough for rookie receivers in the NFL. Not all of them ball right away. Can you wrestle targets away from Meyers? I don't think anyone can wrestle targets away from Bowers. I'm hearing he's been looking good in Raider OTAs though. One of the things the Raiders will be doing much more of this year is going deep with Smith at quarterback. That means third-year speedster Trey Tucker will get more of and better opportunities to get behind the defense and make big plays. He didn't have too many opportunities last year, and it wasn't because his 4.2 wheels weren't getting him open deep. He has that easy speed where it doesn't look like he's trying, but he easily pulls away from guys down the field. Having Smith as his quarterback is going to make a big difference as he is one of the best deep ball throwers in the game today. He's also going to have more opportunities as a result of the defense putting 8 in the box to stop Genty. And in turn, he'll catch a few deep balls and make the defense pull that 8th man out of the box so Genty and the Raiders can run the ball again. He'll also run the secondary off to open things up in the short to intermediate area for Bowers, Meyers, Meyers, and Besh. The name of the game is make the defense defend every single blade of grass on that field, right? With his speed and stature, doesn't he remind you of someone? Tyler Lockett. Maybe he can play his role in the offense. Carroll might have found someone to play the role of DK Metcalf too. Dante Thornton is 6'5", 205 pounds and runs a 4.30 40. That's a steal in the 4th round of the draft to me in itself. But the fact that he came into OTAs with the ability and know-how to run routes many scouts said he couldn't makes him a real steal. He absolutely tore it up in OTAs. Anytime anyone has asked someone on the team or staff about him, they always have the best things to say. I've even heard things like he dominated OTAs. I'd say that's a really good sign because you don't need pads to run routes and catch the ball. You pretty much know right away when you have something good at the receiver spot, and Thornton looks like it. His role is already defined, but how big will that role be? 6'5" beats 5'9", so will he take Tucker's starting position and be the speed receiver? Will the Raiders take their time with him and start him off in the rotation? Oh man, he'd be a hell of a weapon in the red zone too. Of course, what happens in minicamp and training camp is going to be the answer to all the above. Back in Seattle, Carroll put a nice little offense around Smith. If OTAs is any indication, he's done the same thing here in Las Vegas. There are some competitions going on the offensive line, but either way, they're going to be better than many think. Genty will get his, and Smith will have better protection than he had last year in Seattle. And weapons-wise, Genty looks like he's going to help out in the passing game. Both tight ends, Meyers and Bowers, look good. Possession receivers Meyers and Besh look good. And speedsters Tucker and Thornton look good. I sure hope all of this continues into the season. Thank you for watching. See you next time.